Hey everybody, welcome back to Royal Caribbean Blog. This is Allie and I'm filling in for Matt today while he is off cruising for the new year. Today we're going to be talking about whether the front or back of a cruise ship is better. Let's get into it. Does it matter if you pick a cabin on a cruise ship towards the front or back of the ship? Every ship has many choices of where to pick a cabin, and as you get closer to the sail date, it's likely that rooms midship will sell out first. Midship cabins tend to be more popular because they are centrally located and they tend to be a better choice for someone who might be worried about getting seasick. If given the choice, you might be wondering if you're better off choosing the cabin more forward or more aft. So let's take a look at some of the pros and cons. So what part of a ship is best for cruisers? It's a matter of opinion, but there are advantages to picking a cabin in certain parts of a ship. Cruise ship cabins usually fall into one of three categories, and that's forward, mid, and aft. All things being equal, conventional advice is to pick a cruise ship cabin that is midship so that you are conveniently located to everything on board, and the distance to get around the ship is minimal. In addition, a midship cabin is ideal for a new cruiser because it's the best location to be to minimize the sensation of movement from the ship that could make someone feel seasick. Also, having a low cabin helps so that you don't feel as much sway of the ship. You may also find that there's a price difference if your cabin is forward, aft, or midship. Depending on the ship, sometimes the more desirable rooms midship or aft can cost more. So is the back of a cruise ship a good location? The primary advantage of picking a cabin at the back of a cruise ship is the view that you can get. If you pick a cabin at the very back of the ship, you can enjoy a view of the ship's wake, and these tend to be quite popular with cruise fans. Not only is it a beautiful view, but the balcony can be bigger on the back of a cruise ship as well. Some special cabins at the very rear corners of a ship might even feature a balcony that wrap around the vessel in an L shape, and that gives you views on two different sides. Enjoying a view from the ship's aft can be almost hypnotic because of how alluring the ocean looks when you have nothing in front of you blocking it. Speaking of views, when your ship is in port, having an aft view gives you the best perspective. Royal Caribbean has caught on to this trend though, and they announced pricing changes related to aft rooms, of course. Aft-facing balconies and junior suites are now going to be separated out as new categories. However, if your room doesn't face backwards and is just a standard room towards the back, you may end up with the same room as a midship cabin, but with a longer walk. Movement at the aft is a little less drastic than a room on the forward area of the ship, but still isn't the most stable place for those who are prone to seasickness. So what are the benefits of being in the front of a cruise ship? Rooms towards the front of a cruise ship tend to be cheaper than other rooms, largely because there's less demand for a cabin at the front. Just like rooms towards the back, it's a longer walk towards the front, and most of the signature activities and public areas are further away. Plus, the front of the ship gets the most movement of any area on board. The higher the deck, the more noticeable that rolling and swaying motion tends to feel. That makes it a less desirable location if someone's worried about getting motion sick. The reason why you might feel more movement at the front is because the front of the ship faces the most wind and direct hits from rolling waves, translating to lots of motion and sea spray. Besides a cheaper price, rooms at the very front have a unique perspective though. On many Royal Caribbean ships, you'll find family ocean view cabins at the front that offer significantly more living space without paying the price of a suite. Sometimes you can also have a view of the helicopter pad in the very front of the ship, which can be kind of fun. Another nice benefit of a front room is it can feel more secluded because there is far less foot traffic. All right, everybody, that's all I have for today for whether the front or back of a cruise ship is better. In my personal opinion, I prefer an interior cabin that's located on the back of the ship versus the front. I have experienced less motion in the aft of the ship versus staying in the front. For instance, on a recent cruise on Norwegian Star, I was traveling with a friend and then two other friends. Our friends were located at the very front of the ship and we were located in the back. On the second night of our cruise, we hit 18-foot swells sailing from London up to Edinburgh, and while me and my friend Haley in our cabin didn't feel as much motion, our friends at the front of the ship said they were up all night and could hear the waves actually crashing against the hull of the ship. So take that for what it is, but just my personal opinion. Comment below whether you prefer to have a cabin in the front or back of the ship and whether you're willing to pay a premium for one of those highly coveted aft balconies. Thanks for tuning in today, everybody, and be sure to like and subscribe to Royal Caribbean Blog so you can be notified every time we have a new video. Until next time, happy cruising!